It is officially the relaunch of On Assignment for Alignment podcast with your girl, Aya Naima, and I'm so excited to be back today. I started this podcast when I was 26 years old, y'all. I'm 29 years old. And when I first started this podcast, my main intention was for me to never quit. Because I've always had the habit of, in the past, to destroy my creativity and everything that I've put out. And I know that I came here for a purpose, and I came here to put the things that I've learned in my life out into the universe so that other people can learn from it. And today I'm actually going to be talking about the 10 intentions that I am setting for my 30s. And it's funny that I mentioned that I started this podcast when I was 26 years old, because I was able to go back and listen to past episodes and listen to how far I have grown. And I am so excited for you all to be able to do that, just from this episode. And I pray that this episode inspires you to go back and listen. And I've always been the type of woman to constantly raise the bar for myself and set a new standard for myself. And this is just a way of me setting a standard for myself by setting intentions for my 30s, because I know that since I am a person and a woman that has always held herself accountable and raised the bar for herself, I know that I have to set important decisions for my 30s, because my 30s are me, being able to forge a new path. So today I'm just going to share with y'all the 10 intentions that I'm setting for myself for my 30s, because I turned 30 in February. So let's go. Number 1, I fully intend to make myself unavailable for other people's problems and chaos. I'm a visionary. And throughout my life, I've made the mistake of placing more onto people than they see for themselves. Seeing a different type of potential for a person than what they see for themselves. And that's not to say that what I see for a person is better than what they came here to do or better than what they see for themselves. What the fuck I'm saying is that I have a high bar for myself. I have projected that bar onto other people in the past, and it's not sustainable, and it doesn't work. And all it does is leave me feeling void of self-love, because I'm constantly doing things for other people to get them to see the potential that I see in them, and they don't want to see that shit for themselves. And my thing is, that does not make them a bad person. I truly don't give a fuck what nobody sees for themselves. You could see the lowest of the fucking low for you, and it wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't treat you no differently. I don't give a fuck, but my whole thing is I've had to learn the lesson of not projecting the potential that I see within myself, the potential and the power that I see within myself onto other people, because it don't work like that. People have to see their potential and their power for themselves. I have always distracted myself with the fantasy of what other people can be. So I just always had the tendency to be like, you know what, if I could just mother this person and show them what their full potential is, by mirroring it back to them and da 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 da. And it's like, you know what, stop. I really had to have a come to Jesus moment with myself and let myself know, like, ayo, girl, you are that bitch. You see your own potential. You see where God is taking you. That does not mean that everybody else sees that for themselves. And sometimes it's not as easy for other people. I've always been a very strong person. I've always been a very intentional person. And I've known from birth that I needed that confidence was something that I was going to need if I was going to reach where I'm trying to go in life. And not everyone sees that for themselves. And that shit really don't got nothing to do with me. And in my 30s, I will be embracing the fact that it don't got shit to do with me. I will be focusing fully on me. And one thing that I have found is that, honey, you inspire more people just from being in tune with your own path and the shit that you got going on, and being fully in tune with that, and just attracting rather than chasing. I feel like that's something that people say a lot, like, I don't chase, I attract. But it really is very true. And I'm saying to take it from me, someone who has chased a lot in my 20s, okay? Because in my 30s, I'm not doing that shit. What I'm going to be doing is that everything is going to be chasing the motherfucking queen, okay? The queen is tired, she's ramped out, and it's done. And one thing I did learn is that I was actually afraid of my own potential. And that's why I kept on grabbing and looking at other people's potential and trying to get them to see their fullest potential. And I'm gonna just say this, because anytime that I've ever tried to change any fucking body in the past, bitch, them people is still who the fuck they is. Them people is still who the fuck they is. And I can't change nobody. Okay. And through realizing that I can't change nobody, I realized that you can't really half-ass do anything when it comes to reaching your fullest potential. I have to be all in, and I have to fully focus on what the fuck I got going on in order to reach my highest potential. So I really don't have time to even be trying to click or see eye to eye with shit that's not even in alignment with where I'm going, because it doesn't fucking make sense and it doesn't do anything but take me off of my path. Then I'm losing my momentum. Okay. And who fault is that? Mine, for being so fucking nosy and not minding my business in the first place and being in other people's business. It don't work like that. And the beautiful thing is that I have gotten so far just in energy alone. I've been able to cleanse my spirit through therapy, of course, and just through self-care of anger. And I'm not angry anymore. I'm not upset about anything anymore, because what I found is that by me trying to be available for other people's lives and like fix them and like do so many things for them, what I found is that I wasn't really mad at people for taking advantage of me. I was mad at myself for allowing myself to not have any boundaries. And it was beautiful to be able to take that power back and like, you know, start to enforce boundaries and set them and really stand by them and fucking embrace them. Because at the end of the day, you have to realize when you are a sensitive person, baby, it don't pay you to overgive. It's like being at the bank and it's money flying out the window. Nobody is gonna go to the bank and say, you know what, I shouldn't do too much. I shouldn't take advantage of the money flying out the window at the bank. No, they're gonna keep taking it because it's there and it's available. It's the same thing with your energy. If you continuously just give your energy out on a silver platter to people and they don't have to work for it, it's not gonna end up well. So, you know, I just figured that my best bet is to fully focus on what it is that I got going on. Number 2, I fully intend to embrace a healthier relationship with money. Okay. Now let me tell y'all something. One thing about me, it's never been a problem with a coin. I can get a coin can come into my pocket, but it's just the fact that money used to slip through my damn fingers. Okay. And going into my 30s, I do not want to have the same money habits because the shit is not cute. I remember when I first started making money, I'm a very generous person. And that's another thing. When you are a generous person, you have to be even more savvy when it comes to money, because you will give all of that shit away. I mean, when I first had a coin, you know, my first set of coin, I was giving everybody money, you know, and I feel like I did that shit all throughout my 20s. I just wanted to, you know how you feel like, oh, when I start getting money, I'm gonna take everybody with me. Fuck no. Absolutely not. No. How about you worked hard to get where the fuck you are, and everybody else needs to do the same for their motherfucking selves. Okay. And I'm not saying that you can't be in community with people who do things for you, because one thing about me, I have people around me, my friends will do anything for me, and it's vice versa. I will do anything for them. But what I'm saying is, you know, being in community with people who aren't able to reciprocate your energy, you know, and that just goes like beyond having a healthy relationship with money. That's just energy as a whole. In my 20s, I've always I've always had this same formula of like stack and starve. Like I wouldn't buy anything for months on end, and then I would save up a whole bunch of money, and then next thing you know, something would just distract me and deviate me away from my path, and all my money would be gone just like that. All the progress that I had made gone out the window. And going into my 30s, I don't want to do that. So, you know, I set me an appointment to get a budget. There's just so many things that I have that are good moving forward. And you know, I wasn't the worst when it comes to money in my 20s, because I still came out of my 20s with some money, with a little coin. But I definitely could have been a lot more disciplined and structured in my 20s when it comes to money. And in my 30s, I fully intend to have a good relationship with my money, starting with a budget. Okay. And one thing that I have always talked about on my podcast is the fact that anytime that I want to change a behavior, a pattern, it's always going to be internal. So one thing that I've been doing lately is EFT tapping for money, and for financial readiness and financial freedom. And I'll probably come back on here and do an episode about that, and break that down and talk about my inner process for becoming better with money. Download this episode, comment down below, and let me know if y'all want me to talk about that. Our self-esteem is also something that can, manifest itself through our money habits. And, I feel like money, food, sex, relationships, all of those things kind of intersect. And when our self-esteem is low, it will manifest in our money. It will manifest in our habits. And all of it is connected. So that is why I talk about, EFT tapping and trying to get your nervous system good to go. Because once your nervous system is good to go, baby, you can start to rewire your brain. Number 3, I intend to consistently amplify my own life. I promise you, every time that I go to sleep at nighttime, I just look up into my home and I'm like, you fucking did this. In your 20s, you didn't waste no motherfucking time. You did what you needed to do. You got all the things that you needed to get. You got your accolades, okay? And you're still getting them down, okay? And I just pinch myself because I just think about the fact that I was a little girl, and as a little girl, I always knew who I wanted to be. And I feel like I know for a fact, because I spend time with my inner child. I know for a fact that my inner child is extremely proud of where we are right now. And I know that I am exactly who my inner child wanted to see as a role model when they were younger. And I fully intend to continue to rise in my 30s, and I am grateful for that. And I always give myself props for that. And I always pat myself on the back. I always hug myself. But in my 20s, I did have a lot of holes. And there were also a lot of spaces and areas in my life where I could be more disciplined. And, I'm grateful to know that. And I'm grateful that I was able to get to know myself and spend time with myself in my 20s, because now I'm like, okay, this is what didn't work. And this is what did work. And I'm going to be able to replace the habits that were bad for me with habits that do work and that can get me to that next level. And and I only was able to get there because I was brave enough to face my own chaos. And I fully intend to continue to face my chaos, because that's the only thing, like I said, is gonna keep me growing and keep me inspiring people. Number 4, I fully intend to shine as brightly as possible. Shine bright like a damn diamond, okay? Being humble and dimming my light, it's not really for me. I tried it all throughout my 20s. It don't get you nowhere but used and fucking abused. I don't know what the fuck people take that shit as like a green light. When you cower to other people's expectations of you, it does not do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for you. It gets you used. It gets you abused. And it don't do shit but make other people feel comfortable. And it's like, what the fuck? Why would that be my responsibility? You better hop into your light, because I damn sure am in mine, okay? And that shit ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? I put in real work to be the woman that I am today. So I'll be damned if I come out of this person that I carefully cultivated just to make somebody else feel comfortable. You got another fucking thing coming, because I'm not doing that. I've done it before. You should have caught me in my glory days when I was trying to make bitches comfortable. I'm not there anymore. I'm in a space where I really don't care who uncomfortable around me when I'm being who the fuck I came here to be. And my thing is, I'm always here to be accountable. So if I'm ever in a social setting, or if I'm ever in any type of one-on-one setting and I offend someone, I'm quick to take accountability for that and apologize, because it's never my intention to go out of my way to purposely make people feel uncomfortable. But it is also never going to be my intention to dim my light to make sure other people are comfortable. Number 5, I fully intend to listen to the language of my soul, okay? At the ripe age of 28, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, okay? We'll get into that in another video. I can't wait to tell y'all about it. But it made my life make so much sense, and it changed me. And it allowed me to see my life through a different lens. And, you know, all throughout my life, I've been quite paranoid. That is something that is a part of borderline personality disorder. But what I learned about borderline personality disorder is that your soul is just extremely sensitive. You are extremely hypervigilant because of the things that you went through in your childhood. And now you are constantly scanning the room for threats because that's how the fuck you had to survive. That's how you had to survive. I am very attuned to shifts in the room. I am very attuned to people's emotions. I am very attuned to people's mental states. I am very attuned just to things that people may not even be attuned to for themselves. And because I am a hypersensitive person, that does make me paranoid. And what I had to learn about BPD is that when you are constantly being hit with shifts that are going on around you, when you aren't isolated and by yourself, it starts to get to you and it starts to make you paranoid, because you then begin to see other people's patterns and behaviors and emotions as something that is towards you, but that's actually not what the fuck is going on. They could actually be experiencing emotions that they aren't even aware of. And because you are sensitive and you feel any type of rift in the air, you're going to feel it. So for a very long time, that was exhausting because I constantly took other people's emotions to heart. I constantly took their behaviors to heart when it truly wasn't something that was my cross to bear. Truly, it ain't really no other way to put it, boo. It wasn't my cross to bear, boo. Okay. And until I was diagnosed, it always got to me. And once I was able to get diagnosed, I realized okay, well, actually I had a reason to be paranoid. And I had a reason to feel a way around certain people. And even if it wasn't what I came up in my mind, because with BPD, you have a tendency to come up with scenarios in your mind and fully fucking believe it. And it may not be what I'm coming up with in my mind, but it's something. And that something should not be ignored. And you should be able to use the wise mind, which is something I'll go over in a future video, to be able to come to a healthy conclusion about what it is that you're feeling, so that you're not acting erratically and paranoid and pushing people away who truly give a fuck about you. Number 6, I fully intend to make decisions that my future self will be happy about, okay? I'm going to just give you an example right now. You know, I started going to the gym about 2 months ago. You know, I did a little something. Anyway, I started going to the gym. I said I wanted to get healthy, you know, just start to get some cardio in. And, you know, I get on the Stairmaster, then I come home and I do my little ab workouts, whatever, right? I will have days where I am contemplating going to the gym, but I'm trying to tell you, I never regret going, okay? And I always think about the fact that, you know what? I know that once I get up and I take my ass to this gym and I get on this Stairmaster, I am going to get off of that Stairmaster feeling amazing. Not only am I going to feel like doing the things that I have planned for myself to do for that day, I'm going to sleep well that night. Okay. I'm going to have mental clarity. Okay. I'm going to feel very regulated in the nervous system. And, you know, I'll just be able to think better. I never regret it. And I know that my future self, even if my future self is a different version of me that day, I'm going to be happy to do it. Number 7, I fully intend to enjoy my own space. Y'all, in my fucking 20s, I was all over the place. I always wanted to be in somebody's face. And, you know, I always told myself, have your own space, have your own life, have your own things going on, have your own motion. Ain't that what the kids calling it? Have your own motion. Because at the end of the day, when you have your own shit going on, you got your own shit, you're able to, for myself, I'm speaking for my damn self, okay? I'm always able to come home and I'm able to realize that, you know, for one, it ain't nothing in this world that has a limit on it that I can't have. Everything that is for me will come to me, and I feel like having my own space is a constant reminder of that for me. And I'm beyond grateful for that. And in my 30s, I fully intend to be in my own shit a lot more than I was in my 20s, because I spent a lot of time away from home because I always felt like I was missing out on something. I always was chasing something outside of myself. And in my 30s, it's just kind of like, I don't need that. I feel like I recently realized that what I am chasing outside is, well, that what I was chasing and what I was looking for, baby, what I got going on here, a peace of mind, my motherfucking sanity, my house, bills paid, food on the table, that is what the majority of the world that's outside having FOMO is fucking looking for. So what I need to do is be grateful for what I already have and keep my ass at home and focus on my mission and focus on my purpose, because that is what's going to get me to where I'm trying to go, right? And my thing is, I'm not saying I'm not going to be outside, because I love outside. I love outside. I love a conversation, as a matter of fact. Love a conversation down. But what I'm not going to be doing is scattering my energy all over the place just for the sake of connection. No. I think that I've cultivated a lot of connection in my life, and I know how to maneuver from here on out. And I'm very grateful for the connections that I do have in my life. I have found my tribe, and I'm so grateful for that. But something just came over me randomly one day and was just like, where the hell did you even get the energy to even be away from your home for so long and just be out of town like that? Where were you getting energy? And I'm grateful that I had the energy, because I got to experience a lot of travel in my 20s. And I still want to experience a lot more travel in my 30s as well. I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but what I'm saying is I want to spend a lot more time at home, because this is where my routine is at. I get up in the morning, I do my morning routine, you know, I do my daily things that I need to do. I do my nighttime routine. Now I'm in a space where, you know, I love to get up, I love to work out, I love to cook my food, I love to take my little bubble baths, I love to take a shower, I love to watch my little shows. I love to, y'all, I be in the house brainwashing myself down, okay? I'm gonna get into that in my self-care tips in some future episodes. But yeah, I love to connect with myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You know, I love to, you know, do my somatic stretching, my yogas, my little Pilates, you know, that I be getting off of YouTube and doing them in my living room. You know, I'm also looking into like getting some plants, making some food. Me and my mom and my parents talked about, you know, starting to garden. I want to go back to the gun range. You know, just there's so many different things that you can do when you live alone. I paint. I love to paint. I will be getting on here and talking about that as well. I just fully intend to enjoy my space a lot more in my 30s. Number 8, I fully intend to respect my sensitive nature. I had to teach myself about my own gifts and energies and abilities and talents. And I had to realize what it is that I bring into every room that I walk into. And I had to realize that constantly having to monitor myself, because I'm afraid of the fact that, you know, people might get a whiff of my energy and feel intimidated by it, or, you know, want to put me down, or just not be aware of their own emotions, so they project it onto me. It's been happening my whole entire fucking life, okay? And in my 30s, I fully intend to respect that, and I fully intend to disengage when I can sense that type of energy being thrown my way, because it's not fucking it doesn't even make sense to engage in it, because I understand it. I've been through many different complex emotions and I've gotten over them, and not everybody has that ability to do so, okay? And you have to be able to respect that and not try to constantly give people the benefit of the doubt when they're disrespecting the fuck out of you and pissing on you and telling you that it's rain. And I had to realize, like, girl, I am someone who is deeply entrenched in these self-care fucking streets, okay? And I had to realize that giving myself permission to be the full spectrum of who I am is the most powerful and the most radical way that I can honor myself and my sensitivity. Number 9 is one of my favorite ones. I fully intend to impress myself in my 30s, okay? In my 20s, I carried so much anger about like not fitting in. And, oh my God, no one likes me. Nobody wants me to be in their crew, blase, blase, squaze. And it actually caused me to want to impress people and like get around people and like want to do the most for attention because I felt so alone and I wanted people to see me. And in a way, it has allowed me to gain like a sixth sense because I was able to get over that hurdle. Now, whenever I'm able to see people who have that type of energy, I'm always very welcoming to them, and I extend my heart to them because I know what it is to be like in that space and be in a space of where you feel like you have to impress people in order for people to love and like you, especially when you perceive people to be superior to you when that isn't the truth. You just have to be able to see your own gifts and see how amazing you are. And I had to get to a point where I was just like, you know what, let's start impressing ourselves, y'all. I eventually made a list of things that impress me about myself, okay? And I'm gonna name off a few things, okay? My bills be paid. Another thing is I be at my doctor's appointments, y'all. I don't miss my doctor's appointments, and when I do miss my doctor's appointments, I always make sure that I reschedule. Car maintenance, home maintenance. I feel like I'm just handling myself very well as an adult, and I feel like that's hella fucking impressive. That's extremely impressive, and I have truly become proud of who I am. Okay. And I don't have to, perform in order for people to love and like me anymore because I perform for myself to love and like my damn self. And it was a challenge, a hard challenge to be able to get to the space that I'm in now, but it was worth it. And I'm proud of myself for actually putting in the work and going to therapy and putting use to the tools that I have gotten out of therapy, because therapy don't work unless you work it, okay? And when I'm actively putting in work to defeat an outdated pattern, it feels good to be able to sit back and realize like, oh, wait, I actually am not doing that anymore because the work that I've been putting in to stop doing that has been working. And what prompted me to make the list of things that I have done or do that impress myself, I literally just woke up one day and it just hit me like, hold up, you literally have so much to be impressed by, okay? And you should impress you so much. Ayo Naima should impress Ayo Naima. So that's what prompted me to make that list. And every time I feel like I'm doing something that's in alignment, I add that to that list. And I always think to myself like, like if I was a contender and I needed a list of the girls, like I would look at this and be like, this girl is kind of T, like on paper. And it can get superficial, but being able to see the ways that you're able to impress your own self on paper does a lot for you, and it also adds a little extra pep in your step, okay? Makes you confident. And last but not least, number 10, I fully intend to be impeccable with my word. Earlier in this episode, I talked about how I was listening to an old podcast of On Assignment for Alignment for me to get ready for this relaunch, and so that I can see what areas I need to improve, what's working, what's not working. And I was able to see that all of the things that I've spoken over my life, I have done. I got my home. I got my degree. I just got my degree, a Bachelor of Arts in Communications in May of 2025. And I talk about, a car. I remember putting that on my vision board, and I'm just very big on speaking life over myself, because I feel like if you're not speaking life, you are speaking death. And that is a trend that I noticed in my past episodes. I think I even talked about being a remote healer. I'm literally in school right now, in classes, learning how to be a better life coach. And I'm starting my life coach business next year. And it's just like, just seeing myself speak so many things over myself and allow them to come into fruition and make them come true and manifest them, co-create with God, has been a very beautiful thing to see. And the fact that I was so far ahead and thinking of these things so young is amazing to me. And it just reminded me that I have to continue to speak life over myself and be impeccable with my word, because in my 30s there is so many things that I want to do that I know is going to come to me. And I'm excited, and I'm excited to be able to do that, and I feel like all my whole life all I've ever wanted was a calm nervous system, baby. I'm here and I'm queer and we're gonna get it cracking, because my 30s, when I say I'm about to blow the motherfucking top off this hoe, I'm not joking, because I'm really about to go full throttle on my dreams. And today was even a struggle for me, because I am very when it comes to procrastination, but trust me when I say procrastination be gone, honey, okay? Because we getting that up out of here. We have more to do. Y'all, it's so many good things that are coming, okay? We are on our way to being the number one podcast in the U.S., okay? I'm on my way to being the number one podcast host in the U.S. Trust me, mark my motherfucking words, it's gonna happen, okay? And I foresee so many different collabs on this podcast, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to inspire people and through my own fucking journey. And I ain't got a cap to do that shit. I ain't got a cap to inspire no bitches. Bitch, this is who I am. This is who the fuck I am. And I'm grateful that me being who I am inspires other people. And I'm grateful to God to even have a purpose in this life, because it is truly what keeps me going. I know that my name is attached to other people in this world, and my gift is attached to other people in this world. And if I put my gift out there, it is going to cause some type of ripple and effect and inspire people around the world to get on their shit as well and reach their highest potential. And that's truly all that I want. So thank y'all so much for tuning into this episode, and I will see y'all next week. TTY.